Okay, welcome to our first video lesson. What I wanted to do, this is going to be pre-recorded. I wanted to go through setting up charts so you guys know exactly what the basics should be on your charting screen. I already kind of went over this a little bit with Jimmy on Sunday, and I want to do it in a way so you can see how our plays that we talked about in our morning meeting went. And if you watch the afternoon call, you pretty much know how a lot of the plays went, but I think in a more detailed setting here might be a little bit better to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen and we are going to go through some plays right now. And so let me pull this up for you guys. Okay, hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Screen two. Okay. So I want to go through a little bit of how we, on some of the stocks that we went into today. So obviously the first one that I'm sure everybody was looking at was MCRB. It was a gapper. The biggest gapper this morning. It really gapped and went early in the day. So I didn't trade this stock. I know Nick did, but let's kind of review. So the daily chart, not much really there on the daily chart, but if we want to really get back down into the 5-minute and the minute, you can kind of see what was going on here. So in the pre-market, I'm going to zoom out here to see if we can look at the pre-market. This stock was definitely a candidate. It was strong all pre-market, really never faded and broke VWAP except early in the morning right here at about 7:20, 7 o'clock. But from the breakout there, it really, VWAP, it never violated VWAP. This should give you a real clear signal that this stock was going to be strong today into the market. I don't trade these really well because it's hard to define risk. So that's why I didn't trade this one. I found a lot easier risk plays to be in, but I figure it's good to have a nice little analysis on this stock. So if you look at this, it's really flagging real nicely all throughout the pre-market, provided some nice levels, okay? So the levels that we had here going into this stock, you should have had this nice little level where it topped out and pulled back to the 22, and then this level right here, and then finally you had your pre-market high, which was your ultimate level to signal to get in on this stock. So if we zoom in here in the morning, the stock on the 1-minute chart, you can kind of see here, really faded out of the gate. I know this is what kind of caught Nick. It kind of popped up to bait some people in on a break of pre-market and then faded right down. So if you took this trade and you exited with a loss, that's okay. I mean, you got to expect that in some of these stocks. And so what happened was, though, it never, it did break the 22, never got down the VWAP down here, even though VWAP was pretty extended at that point. And it came down to this level to the T in the pre-market. And this level, again, if we go back, that level that it came down to was this top level right here. So, which is great. So it came down, found support there, and then chopped around between this level and this level perfectly. And then it finally broke through this level, and then it drove up a nice break here of the pre-market highs. And let's kind of zoom through here a little bit. That should have been your decision to get in, okay, right here, with your stop loss being this level here. Okay, so it could have been either VWAP if you want to give it a little bit more room, but really I think because we were so far away from VWAP, really would have gave you a nice stop loss. 1952 would have been my stop loss on a break of the pre-market highs. So if you look at that, though, you're talking $1.20 in a stop loss. So that's why I don't like to trade these, because that's a pretty wide stop. That can cause some damage if you're trying to go in with size. But if you would have caught this, it really rode up this 22 really nicely, never gave you an opportunity. It did halt in here. So, 2071 right in that range up to this halt level at 24. And of course, then it opened up and screamed right back up almost another 3 points. And you can see here, you had to be quick, because if not, you started playing the halt game on the way down. So if you were buying in here at 28, there's a good chance that, you know, you got halted on the way down, and this thing wound up coming all the way down to 25.50. So it can get even worse than that, and it wound up playing the halt game right in here as well, as it kind of rolled over. Tried to halt up, but then, you know, just went up, going up a little and then rolling over. It was really done at that point with declining tops. So if you did trade this, gave you a nice level right here. I would have gotten out going in a half size into this halt, and then probably would have got out at a half size going into here. So that would have been my play on MCRB. It did, I believe, give you a little afternoon play, which means it should be in play tomorrow. So you had a nice little break of the 15-minute highs. If you, a lot of these stocks, you'll have an afternoon perk pattern. And right here, you did get that pattern, 21.85. You could have rode that up to about 24, maybe 30 in that range. Again, I didn't trade that stock. The stocks that we did trade that we called out on our pre-market meeting that you guys were a part of, the first one was Microsoft, okay? And if you remember the thesis on Microsoft when we were talking at it at 8:30, the thesis was that we had this nice level here, this nice level, and I'm going to go to the hourly charts a little bit, I think better to see that level. We had a nice level, and, you know, with talks of TikTok really breaking down, we were expecting a rollover and a short in Microsoft on the break of this level, okay? And that's exactly what we got in the morning. And if you can see here, we had the point of control, and this stock was decidedly red compared to where it had closed the prior day. So this was all lining up, and you had your pre-market lows lining up right there. So this was all lining up, and this wound up being a great short. And let me see, sorry if I can get in here and you know, let's see if we can see what happened with this stock today. And let me see. Okay, so let's kind of zoom in here on Microsoft. So at the morning, the stock opened, busted above, tried to sucker some people into the above the point of control really nicely as it was butting up against it going into. But the good news is going into it, it really kind of pulled away from there. So, you know, you should have never really gotten suckered in here. And we tried to stay away from the first 5 minutes anyhow. And so what happened was they busted in, sucked people in, and then this was the cue to drop it, and, you know, never really reclaimed VWAP in here. So it was a nice short, and nice short from 211.02. We took half off at 208.12, okay, which is right. Let's kind of zoom out here. So you can kind of see where we were looking at on this stock. So this was our target here on the daily level, and this was the 208.12. So nice pull down, kind of pulled up into VWAP a little bit, and still gave you a nice little consolidation and then a breakdown here. Now we got out of half here, and then the other trailing half was left to really out in this congestion here as it reclaimed the 22 period. So this is a nice short into this stock. Great thesis. Thesis played out and provided a really great shorting opportunity. Again, VWAP, the 22, really playing into that stock. So, and when you're, you know, looking at your charts, okay, the big thing is there's some important levels you should have on your charts, okay, and you really kind of want to color code your levels. And, you know, what I do is, if you look in here on Microsoft, so I put in the prior day's high, and then the prior day's low in blue. Now I didn't do it on this one because they was, you know, the prior day's low was coinciding with, you know, a really important daily level, and then also really the pre-market low level. So, you know, kind of, you don't need too many lines in the same vicinity. I kind of knew that the pre-market low was right at important day, excuse me, the previous day's low. So you always want to put the previous day's high and previous day's low. I do them in blue because then I know exactly when the stock's hitting it, what that is. Because when I'm looking at 20 different stocks, it's, you know, I don't have time to go back through the charts and see what level it's actually hitting. And then I do the pre-market high and the pre-market low in white. Okay, and they're really important levels. Okay, and then I do the prior day's close you want to have in there, and I actually have a program that automatically charts that for me, and it's in a dash line that's green. So that's the prior day's close, and that's important because for red to green moves. Okay, if it's going red, it's going to be going through this close. And then if it goes green to red, it's going to come up through that. So, they're important plays, important moves in certain types of markets. So you want to be able to know that level. And then you want to have the point of control. And typically the point of control is the difference, the halfway point between the pre-market high and the pre-market low. So, and I use that as a purple, smaller dotted line. So I know that's really, and what the point of control is, if the stock is above the point of control, the bulls are considered in charge. If it's below the point of control, then the bears are considered in charge. And the only time I really change that, and when you will really change that, is when I get into and we start talking about volume profile analysis. Then we'll start changing up a little bit on the point of control as far as where shares have been accumulated and where buyers and sellers are really kind of sitting and what kind of layers they're sitting at in the market. So, but right now, the point of control, very simply, if you're just starting out, is the halfway point between the pre-market high and pre-market low. Okay, and so obviously these are the important levels you want to have on your chart. I then also have the VWAP on the chart, and I also have my 22 EMA. I have also the whole in cash one here, which gives nice little indicators for exit signals, really. And I have my own little settings, which I'll go into a different video as far as what you want to do with the whole in cash indicator, whether you even want to have it on your slot or not. Now, this little shaded line in here, this is one of my main trading strategies that I have. It automatically codes this in. This is the 15-minute high for the stock and the 15-minute low. So as you'll see in a lot of stocks, if the stock breaks the 15-minute low, it's a good shorting opportunity if other things are in consideration. It would have been a good shorting indication right here on Microsoft, but we had some different levels we were playing off and squeezed more profit. And the 15 high provides some really good signals, but you got to be careful of false signals, and I'll go into that in a different video as well. Just know what that is as far as when you see them on my charts. So Microsoft, good thesis from the 7:30 call, worked out perfectly, and it paid off very well. Another stock that had a really good thesis was Square. And, we kind of had different viewpoints, me and Nick, going into the call. Nick was looking for maybe Square to go up, and I was looking for Square to possibly come down and fill its gap. So if you want to look at the daily chart, I'll pull this over here. This is the daily chart on Square. As you can kind of see, on August 4th, Square kind of broke out of this this triangle pattern and, broke up and created this gap. Now, stocks, if you know anything about gaps, will have a tendency sometimes to come back and fill that gap. Could be this week, could be next week, or it could be a couple of years from now. So Square, I had a theory that was getting kind of weak, kind of top heavy. The market was getting kind of top heavy. Some of the Momo names were pulling back, were rotating into value. And so Square was one of those stocks on my thesis that was going to possibly pull back and fill this gap. It didn't fill it quietly to the T, but it filled it pretty nicely. So it was a good win from the thesis. Now, how do we trade it? Well, if you look at the chart for Square, let's kind of zoom in on the hourly chart, and we kind of set ourselves up in here a little bit. You can kind of see where we were. This was the prior day's high. This was the prior day's low. My pre-market high, low, and the point of control. So very simply, Square was a pre-market low break. Because once it came crashing in the pre-market here, as the stock started open, it came through the point of control very nicely, was below VWAP, really was never above VWAP. So it's kind of zoom in on the open on Square. Tried to pierce in a little bit here. So, try to maybe fake some people out, but this was a nice break right at the gate. If you didn't catch it right at the gate, because sometimes we like to stay out of these stocks first couple minutes, this would have provided you nice flag here, nice flag, and break. So nice flag and break. It didn't, curl right from VWAP. And this got you a nice return on this one. So 147.18 is where we were looking for the break here in Square. Took half off at 143.27. So, that's right down here at the prior day's low. okay, right around here. So let's kind of zoom out a little bit. So you can see, took a little out in here, and then the stock went further, and then just we had this nice engulfing candle, and then back in this congestion, got rid of the other half right in here. Though if you look, if we were patient enough, which this is one of my big problems, it really went down to this level perfectly to the T. And this is where the 8 EMA is sitting on, excuse me, the 9 EMA sitting on the daily chart. And so my daily levels, if they're EMAs, I have them as dashes in the color that they are. So if we pull up the daily chart, you can kind of zoom in here. Square found nice support at this 9 EMA. So I want to have that on my chart. I wish I could say I got that move all the way down, because you can see it provided support to the T. But I got out in this congestion here for the other half. Would have been nice to re-short. As you can see, this level became resistance again. Could have re-shorted off this level and got yourself another 5 points in the short on Square. So nice trade, nice thesis on Square. 2 for 2 from what we were looking at from our 7:30 call. And that's why we like to trade these type of stocks. So nice winner on Square. The next one was Target. We talked about the rotation of value. If you can see, our buy zone on Target for the day was really right here, this purple line. So this was an important line. If we pull up the daily on Target, you can kind of see we're in a bullish thesis with a nice little breakout above this level here. We kind of pierced it right here, pulled back into it, not even to the mid, and then wound up breaking through nicely yesterday, and then a follow through breakup today. So Target is in the clear at all-time highs. So if we want to zoom in here, the thesis for Target was that, you know, we break this line. This is a nice little, we're in the buy zone here on Target. But the thing is, you know, and Target doesn't trade much pre-market, so no use really putting lines in. I did put in a pre-market high for Target because, but I didn't really put a pre-market low or a point of control because, you know, it really is not going to matter on this type of stock. So I kind of left it off, and I'll explain how to do that later. But just because I trade Target a lot, I like to trade Target off the 15-minute break. Okay, we could have traded Target here in the morning on a break of this level here. Would have been a little whippy coming down to this pre-market level, but Target has a tendency to go a little bit later in the afternoon. You can see it wedging up. I love those patterns, and it's a little bit more or less risky to do a 15-minute break, and you just got to learn that from some of these stocks. So, you know, you should have played the break here of 132.25 on the first break. Here it was a nice little break. Pulled back, didn't even hit VWAP, and then followed the 22 all the way up. It's amazing how it came up to the pre-market high. You take off half here, it pulls back, didn't violate this 22, and you could have got yourself maybe another 1.5 right in here and gotten out on this congestion. So Target, it's probably been about 5 out of 6 days that we've played this 15-minute break high, and it's performed really well for us into this trade. And that's why if you trade the same stocks, you kind of get a feel for how those stocks trade, and nice trade on Target. So 3 for 3 on our thesis so far. Another stock that we had on our pre-market list was SRNE. It was another breakout. And instead of playing MCRB, I like this one a lot better for risk to reward. If you look at the daily chart, you can see we broke extremely out high of this consolidation from a previous breakout. So we broke out SRNE, kind of, you know, had some consolidation in here. Then we had another breakout. And when you get a stock, this is one of my favorite plays. So when you get a stock that is gapping above an important level, consolidation level, it's kind of like how we had with AMD. Okay, if you remember, AMD, we went over this in the pre-market. This stock broke through, stayed above this important level, and this just skyrocketed up. So stocks that can stay above that important consolidation zone, you know, can be really good trades. So SRNE was gapping above that level, gapping above this level really nicely, and they were using this level as support here as we went into the morning. That was the all-go sign on this stock. So if you look at the pre-market, you know, we had our point of control, we had our pre-market low, we had our pre-market high, and we had a nice little level in here from the pre-market in gray that we were concerned about. So SRNE, you know, pre-market high breakout straight out. It was also a 15-minute high breakout. So when you have more than one indicator or more than one pattern that's in play here, gives you even more of a conviction. So, you know, bought in SRNE 1596. Now I played this stock 4 times today, or it should have been played 4 times, I should say. I can't remember if I actually traded all 4. But nice little break here. This gave you up to this consolidation zone, 1664. You know, came back. If you held it through down to the 22, and then you got this consolidation, you saw maybe a little like second top, and it was a little bit weak. So we got out. I did trade this, got out in this congestion here. Then, if you look here, it provided support on the 22, and it was a triangle break, getting ready to break. This stock was beautiful with triangles today. So what we did was we actually got in again. Now, you know, we got in for this reload. The volume started picking up again, and we got in for a break of the 1664 and rode it up into this congestion on this engulfing candle. So got out into this congestion for a nice little ride. That was trade number 2. Now, trade number 3, it started doing the same things, kind of wedging itself up against, you know, a nice little level here. Got in for a nice little pop right here. 1739 was our entry, and we got out 1780 right in this congestion here. Again, if you notice, we were concerned about this little double top, and it didn't. It provided a good concern, and we got out for a nice win. Now realize that's 3 trades already. Excuse me, 2 trades already. You have a 5% winner and a 7% winner. So that's, you know, not a bad, actually 3 trades, I should say, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 trades so far in SRNE, 5, 7, and 3% winners. And then of course you had, if you keep on going down, you had another nice little break triangle here. If you see this little triangle here, nice little break in this congestion. Right up to 1920. This was all about the triangles today on SRNE. Gave you a lot of good entries, and then of course got out in the congestion up top. And then late in the day, there was also another little triangle break in here. As you can kind of see this congestion zone, it kind of broke out. We did trade this one as well, and got out for a quick pop. So again, you know, some people will say, well, Mike, why not just trade it once? You know, you're getting all those commissions, and, you know, you're going in and out of the stock. Well, look, you know, we had about 5 trades in here, you know, 5, 7, 3, 3, and about 5% winners each time. And the reason you do this is because, you know what, it's all about risk management and managing your risk. So yeah, you can easily buy the stock and hold for one big trade all the way up. But, you know, we like to get out. We want to lock in our profits, get back in when the risk to reward is in our favor. And that's what it's all about. So if I'm going to give up some profits by, you know, throwing some commissions out, I am willing to do that to get a favorable risk to reward return on these breakouts. So SRNE was really a great winner today, great trader. It was all about the triangles, and it's one of my favorite patterns. And if you look in the pre-market, it's running pre-market, so it should be in play tomorrow, and it'll definitely be on our radar. So that's SRNE. Another stock that we had on our, you know, in our pre-morning call was SLSK. Okay, this was another stock that gave us a couple trades. We had 3 trades in CLSK. Nice winner here, and if I pull up the daily chart, you can kind of see it had broken above this nice consolidation zone yesterday. It gapped above it, stayed up there, never came back down. Same trade today, you know, gapped above, never really came back down. Good winner on the daily chart, and it played out well today. So it's kind of pop in here. So you had an early trade here, break on the pre-market high at 10, plus you had a whole number break at 10, gave you a nice little runner all the way up. And I think, you know, some people got out at like 1150 right in this congestion here as it was popping up. And then this kind of gave you a nice little pop up in this congestion here. It's above the 22 crossed over the VWAP, and we're in an uptrend. So it gave you another nice chance to reload. We did take this trade and got out on this little pop here above the 15. It also was above this 15-minute high. But we didn't want to stay in this stock very long. We actually threw out our orders and got what we call fished. So with a little fishing line got hooked, and I just happened to get close. And we also gave you another opportunity as it congested at the 15-minute high, take a quick little pop from 1178 to 1240. We did take that in here in this congestion as it was holding along right here, and just for a nice quick little pop. So nice trader right there on CLSK. It could have, I'm trying to look here, I think that's all we traded it. Kind of pull out. It did give you a nice little trade here in the afternoon perk pattern. Okay, so you could have maybe gotten in here. This is kind of the dead zone when you got to be careful taking trades. It kind of, you know, popped down the VWAP, violated it, so you probably would have got stopped out had you taken this trade. But this trade was a nice winner, and actually, if you had bought this consolidation of this break, even with that stop loss, this would give you a nice winner into the close, and it seems like to be holding up pre-market, so it should be on our stock list tomorrow. So that's CLSK. Another stock that was on our list in the pre-market was PBI, Pitney Bowes. Pitney Bowes was a little bit later player here as we broke the 15-minute high at 651, gave you a nice run into the close. It went all the way up as high as, I believe, 710. We have some traders got out 697, and that right there is a nice 7% winner going into the close. Again, this took a little bit later, which, you know, you would have had to been on top of your game to, you know, catch this. And you got to be careful when you're trading around 1 o'clock, 1:30, 12 o'clock in that zone, because stocks sometimes don't hold. But this did give you a nice little breakout. We didn't trade it, but there is some traders that traded, and that was on our pre-market call as well. Some other stocks that we had pre-market, I kind of got chopped up in Plug, even though it looks like it had a really good day today. I got chopped up in here there was an early seller in Plug right here at 12. I tried to go for the breakout twice and got caught with a break of VWAP on the stop loss twice. So I stopped trading Plug. It actually looks not a bad trader today. Held VWAP on this break. It finally did break that 12. That seller was taken out. But when you have a seller like that taken out, you expect a little bit more of a run. Didn't really get it. So it's kind of a distribution day to me on Plug, and I'll still have it on my charts tomorrow. But I did have 2 losses on Plug today right in there. So the next stock that I really want to show you guys is Groupon. I had a loss on Groupon today, and you know, Groupon, this is a stock that will go to show you. It would help if I type in the right symbol. So I tried to play the breakout. Really, the volume was, it just wasn't good in here. It dropped off. I got in after the volume kind of dissipated. Right in here, I was trying to play a reclaim of VWAP, and I got out, not just for a small loss, but it just goes to show you you need some volume in some of these plays, and Groupon was just a dead fish for me, and it just took me away from some of the other really good stocks that we had. Another one that I had made money and typically make money on, but this was kind of a consolidation day. You can see it consolidated today, was pins. I tried to play pins in here on a breakout, a VWAP. I thought for sure it was going to reclaim. Got out for a very small loss on pins, and you know, really wasn't worried about it. Wasn't moving today. I'm still ultra, you know, if I can get a dip, I'm a big believer in pins from the long-term chart, and would be in more on a swing trade on that as well. And then finally, RKT, the Rocket Mortgage, which was the you know, the IPO darling that we've had really good trades on Thursday and Friday. We thought this was going to be a good trader today. It wound up not being. You can kind of see right in here, some of the levels. So it came right down to the pre-market low of not last night, but the day before. So we keep some of these levels on there because they're important levels, because it's only been trading for 3 days. So there are the levels it's going to use. You had this high here that played an important role from 2 days ago, which also became the low. So, really, this would have been a good short in here on a break. So, you would have been a good short, probably would have got stopped out into VWAP here, but this one you would have caught into the close and would have had a nice little short down to this level here on Rocket Mortgage. This is actually not bad action. I'm kind of excited about this because now hopefully we can get some momentum and action in here, but you kind of want to keep some of these levels to yourself. So we didn't play it at all today. It wasn't strong. It never got above the pre-market high, so it never gave us a reason to get in there. It never really got above the 15-minute high. It never gave us a reason. It never got green, and spent very little time above VWAP. So Rocket Mortgage was not to be had today. So that is some of the stocks that we played. And, again, if you, what's important to take away from a lot of this, okay, and this is a stock we didn't play, Beyond Meat. I'm going to pull this up, clear the drawing set here. So going into tomorrow, so what you want to do, and actually what you should be doing tonight, is setting your levels on your charts. So, right here with Beyond Meat, if I'm going to look at Beyond Meat, I'm going to set and draw my prior day's low. I'm going to go in and draw my prior day's high right in here. And then, if I don't have a program, I'm going to set in, okay, 127.43 is the close. So I'm going to set in there the close. So I know what the closing print is, and I know what color and how to identify that. And then if it's moving pre-market, I may set some pre-market levels, but it really doesn't do well to set those levels right now, because we got a whole day and night and morning to really move pre-market. But it helps to start setting up your thesis for these stocks the night before. So if you look at the daily chart of Beyond Meat, again, I kind of cleared all my lines and didn't reset them, but this is really an important line right in here. You can kind of see this congestion, this resistance and support all along here. So it kind of came down to this level, to the T, and it's going to be an important level tomorrow if we're going to look at Beyond Meat. But if we were to zoom in on the daily chart, the reason I don't like this is because it's below the 8 and it's below the 21 EMAs, and it's also below the 50. So they're all kind of bunched up together. I would have liked to see it hold this consolidation level. I would like to see it held this breakout level. It kind of did fill this gap here and came back up. So maybe you get some action positive in Beyond Meat. You have some lighter volume, but there's some better setups and better plays to look at. So again, tonight, what you want to do, go through, look at your stories, go through your charts, get your thesis, get your chart set up. I'll give you another example. Let's see if I can find a stock that we may want to look at tomorrow that's setting up. Roku really, fell back in the zone, didn't do much today. I'm not happy, not really looking at that stock here. What about SPAQ? No, not really there. So I'm thinking that we may want to look at that stock at some point. But I'll give you an example. Let's look at Facebook. Okay, this is probably a good stock to look at today. And Facebook, kind of pulled back down. So if I'm doing Facebook, you see, I'm setting my daily levels first. I already have these in yellow. And then I'm looking at the important moving averages. And I got the 9 EMA, 254.56, could come into play tomorrow for Facebook. So I'm going to throw that out there. And so I know exactly where that is. I'm going to cross this into 56, put that out there. Then I'm going to go and, hit my, hourly chart. Is there any levels on here, Facebook? I'm going to take and go in and write my high here, put that in blue. I'm going to do my low, put that in blue. And that chart is set up, and then I'm going to put the close, which is 263. Nice whole number it closed on. Interesting. On Facebook, I'm going to put that in green. And I'm going to throw that out there like this. So, and then any other important levels. So this looks like a nice important late afternoon level for Facebook. Kind of, you know, found some bottom in there. I'll put that in gray. So that way it's kind of lighter and it's not messing up my chart with a lot of lines. But I also know what that level is. And again, this didn't really take, but this is supposed to be blue here. So set your levels up, try to get a thesis, look and see, you know, Facebook, if I was looking at Facebook, you know, it's part of the FANG group. It's one of the strong stocks. It had just breaking out from this little breakout here. So I'd like to see another maybe day of consolidation in here, maybe come down to this 9 EMA. So maybe looking for some weakness and consolidation in Facebook. Look at a break of this level first, and then, you know, break down to this prior day's low is probably what I'd be looking at right now in Facebook. It's kind of standing up on a weak leg here on the hourly. So, you know, go through your stocks, go through your thesis, set your charts up. It's really important that you have that. And then tomorrow we'll go into adding to your charts, adding to your toolbox, and adding to what the plays are. But hopefully, I think it was a good day, good first day, a lot of stocks in play from our morning call that really worked out. Really good trading day, and I hope you guys had a good trading day as well. Take care.